Good evening. My name is Elise Castingway. I'm a Creative Memories Advisor in Connecticut. And tonight I am going to show you how to create a layout that is a two-page version of Krislyn Mattei's Reel in Some Winter Magic with this layout. In her layout, she used the brand new Flurry of Fun collection and she created one page. I have a sample right here of a retired set-up camp. Some of you may have this collection still kicking around. It was created in 2023, so just last year, but it is retired. And for this layout, you're going to be using two base pages, and it doesn't matter whether or not you like the back sides, because actually you're going to cut the front side of each out. You just have to make sure you like them together. And I use this very detailed pattern on one side and this subtle one on the other. And I also used tape chips on the back side to hold it together. So you may choose to do, actually, you know what? On this page, I think I adhered it with the front side. So ladies, you may just get away without it, but here I adhered it with tape chips. Just to save weight in my album, and also so I can save this adorable collection that is, like I said, retired. So in addition to your base pages, you will need something where you can cut two 3.5-inch strips. I use this lime with some evergreens on it. And then another piece of paper that complements or coordinates, I use this light pink color, and we're going to be cutting 4 1/4-inch strips out of it. And I am going to take myself off of here because you don't need me. You want to see my paper. Additionally, I have included 4 4x6 variety mats. You can also cut a piece of cardstock and use that instead. These are mats I have in my collection, and because I'm just about at the end of my paper, I figured when I go to put my 3 3/4-inch by 5 3/4-inch photos on top, these will look beautiful. And then, of course, some embellishments. I put a little cluster here, one down here and here. And so you'll end up with 4 3. You could also not put any mats here, and this could just be 4 4x6 pictures. You could also, if you really wanted to, make these 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 if you don't want to cut your photos at all. Or if you like a bigger mat, you could do 4.5 by 6.5. You'll just see a little bit less of this circle. And then down here, these are 7 3x3 photographs. If you had 8, you could also take this out. Another option would be here if you don't have very many square photos. You could also keep this 6 inches wide, but cut off a 1/2 inch or at least an inch. So you have 3 inches in height and 6 inches wide. And then you could do 1, 2, 3, 4 of those if you left out this embellishment cluster. So I like this layout because I think it's got a lot to offer. There's all of that. For tools today, you're going to need your jumbo circle with the red blade and your 12-inch trimmer. And of course, adhesive. And as I mentioned, you could also use those tape chips if you have them. And if you want to, and I'm just going to show you that I am using 4x6 mats, but while I was waiting to teach tonight, I cut out the centers of my mats. I just want to show you how sometimes you get the variety mats that have an adorable title. And so Little Sprout, I think, is super cute. So I used the largest of the small circles in the custom cutting system with the green blade. And that will allow me to place a picture right on top of here. And you'll never notice that that weight is missing, but you also get to keep the adorable titles. So just always good to have an extra tip. Okay, so to start this layout, you're going to take your 2 front-facing layouts. I wanted these to be 2 different patterns. Another option would be if you wanted, some of you are very symmetrical and you like it to look the same on both pages. If you do like the opposite side of your paper, and you do want them to be all the same, because some people are like that, you're going to put your two facing pages together, and we're going to make one cut all the way through. My two pages that are facing each other are going to be two different patterns, because what I'm going to do is take the circle on this page, pop it onto here, take the circle from this page and pop it here. I hope I'm not babbling too much, but I just want to show you that variety because, like I said, some people are very symmetrical. And if you wanted the same base, as long as you like the opposite side inside, then that works also, because then you can you can just flip your circles and that would work too. So we're going to stack these and cut together. You could cut them separately if you don't trust yourself. But honestly, I don't think, I can't see any reason why you shouldn't. So once again, stacking both front sides together. It just means driving your blade around a little bit extra. And what I did here, and I wrote it down in the directions, but I'm just going to leave them here, is you want to put it about 1 inch from the top, which is basically putting the top blue edge of your jumbo circle at the very top of your page. And then I did it about 1/2 inch in. And so I wrote right on here, and I'm just going to reread what I said. About 1/2 inch in from the right edge of the paper. So there's there's 1, 2, 3, 4 raised pieces. And basically what I did is this second one in from the outside, I put the edge of my paper on the inside of that groove. And truly, there's no exact science to this. That's just what I did. I think eyeballing it yourself and making sure that you're happy, that you're going to have enough to see there. You want to be able to see this pattern a little bit. So about 1/2 inch here and about 1 inch there. And then you're going to open up your blade and you're going to go around a couple times. The most important thing with the jumbo circle and any of our custom cutting system is that your two guides get into the groove. You just want to make sure that once you put it in, it's going to stay. I just push it down and pierce it. And then you just really don't want to move one hand. So if you're left-handed, you're going to hold this down with your right hand. If you're right-handed like I am, you're going to hold it down with your left. And I just keep it going. I'm just going to drag it one more time. Feels and sounds good. And then without moving my blue guide, I'm going to hypothetically pop these out. Because what could happen, mine both popped out, but what could potentially happen is you cut your first one and didn't cut all the way through your second. So like I said, I think if you go around twice and your blade is sharp, you shouldn't have any issues just like that. And I'm going to set these aside. So that I can make the rest of my cuts. All right, with your pattern, that's going to be where my little pink strips were. I'm going to be using this sage green. So we're going to be cutting 4 1/4 inch strips. I like to try to give you the directions visually. I think it's helpful. And 1/4 inch on our trimmer is when you line up your paper with the edge of this gray strip. So from the first dotted line to that gray strip is approximately 1/4 inch. And if it isn't exactly, well, that's the line I use. So because I think that it's exactly the measurement that I'd like to use. You could certainly, if you wanted a wider strip, make it wider. This is another opportunity. If you wanted to use a decorative blade, you could cut a few of these and you could make it wavy on the top and bottom if you were looking for that. You know, we're always talking about ways to just modify something. One of my patterns is so bold, so busy, I think the straight cut for me is all I need. But feel free, once again, we've got those blades, might as well use them. So that's 3/4-inch strips. And this is now 4. And then this last cut is going to be the paper that's going to go across where my green went on my other page. And I do have to mention, I need to retype my directions in that I need to add a step. We're going to be using a 12-inch piece, and then we have 3.5 inches. And I forgot to mention that we need 2 of those. So I think I forgot to mention it because as I was typing up the directions, if you only did a 1-page spread, you only need 1 of these, but I'm doing a 2-page spread, so you need 2 of the 3.5 inch. I'd also like to mention, if you do like the decorative blade, you could certainly do that here. This would look pretty if you did it here. These two abut, so you want a straight blade here, but if you wanted something different, you could absolutely do a decorative blade there. So 1 3.5-inch cut. You're going to slide and make a second 3.5-inch cut. And believe it or not, that's it. I think one of the things I think is awesome about the blog is you get to look at somebody else's creativity and figure out how it's going to work for you. And it's super easy. Maybe easy is not the right word, but it's a lot easier to be somebody looking at someone else's layout than it is to be the original creator. And so I'm so thankful to Krislyn because she created the first layout that allowed me to be creative and thinking I could be frugal with my paper. I can stack it. So those are the ways that I feel like I'm creative because I didn't create the original layout. So first things first, you're going to pop your one circle into one side, popping the other circle into the other side. And you may have the good old-fashioned photo splits like I do from back in the day, in which case, if you do, you're going to want to turn your paper over and lock them into place. I didn't even do that, as I mentioned, with my other page, but it's probably a good idea. We also have the new tape chips today that you can buy. You could also, like I said, when you go to mount your 4x6 mats on the top, that may help you adhere these as well. And if you actually are right in your layout, if you're adhering right onto your page, you could send background and
just so you know, Alicia, volume cut out.
In the video. Am I still okay? Interesting.
Cut in and out a few times, just your volume though.
Thank you. Yes, my computer just said low resources. What I'm hearing my computer tell me is you need to retire me and take the brand new one out of the box and stop being afraid of change. So there's that. Okay. Well, that's step 1. Step 2 is putting down your 1/4-inch strips. And I don't know if you've had the opportunity to purchase one of these, but I absolutely love my silicone mat and my repositionable adhesive. When I do 1/4-inch strips, this is my tip. I put them side by side and I run down both of them together. Then you don't really lose any adhesive. And I'll do the same with the other 2. You could also use the mini tape runner. If you like the adhesive pen, that's another option as well. I like quick and easy. So basically you're going to be, I love the 13-inch mats, which I didn't mention using, but I guess it's because I just use them for everything. I just placed mine 1/4 of an inch down from the top. You could also, I'm looking at this, if you've got a pattern like I do with hearts, I'm thinking I'm going to place mine here a half an inch down, and then you get to see the whole heart. So artistic license, feel free to modify it. Why not keep that heart there? And if I'm doing a half inch on one page, I might as well do a half inch on the other. Where I'm laughing, I'm standing up on my tiptoes so that I can eyeball this over my camera. The magic of being online. All right, and then on the bottom of the page, I went also a quarter of an inch up. So, and this time, the way the hearts are, it works out perfectly to do a quarter of an inch. Because you get to still see the pattern. So I'm not going to bring it up to half. Hoping I'm going at an okay pace. The next part is going to be that we're going to lay these 3.5 inch strips right on top. So once again, just grab your adhesive. And abut that piece to the other straight piece. And then you're going to put your 4x6 mats down. And I have one that is solid white and one that is patterned. And then I have one that has these stars on it, and I'm okay with the fact that I'm going to cover it up with pictures. That's okay. And my backside is clouds, and I'm not sure that I would use those. But for now, these are just going to be placeholders until I get my photographs there. And then you're just going to place them down.
I'm not one for fussy cutting, but those stars look like they would be really cool fussy cut it out and like stuck all over the place. They're just really neat.
You know, you're not wrong. However, no, you're not wrong at all. That's a great tip. Honestly, you look at these stars and they would make super cute. And, you know, with the precision point adhesive, it makes it real. I mean, precision point pen. Nope. Try again. Micro tip pen. It is precision point adhesive. You know, it's Friday night. The nice thing about
Microtip scissors.
they're
You said
super,
pen.
but these are super sharp if you see the tip. Oops. So they're perfect for piercing in the middle of the page. The other thing that you could do, okay, now you're going to make me do it, aren't you? You're going to make me
I was just thinking, it just looks really neat. And then, of course, like you said, pierce it that way. You're then saving your mat, or you can do a
yes,
border
yes.
in the middle, like the frame.
I will do it. Positive peer pressure. I'm going to cut a mat all the way around. I might miss uh, a star, but that's all right. Here we go. We're gonna go around. It's a good tip. I like it. I'm good with it. And then I can, when I'm not on screen, I can choose to cut them and not take up your time. But, you know, oh, that wasn't good. Let's try doing it where I can actually cut it. So now I've popped out the middle. Still have enough room to map my picture. And won't it be lovely that I have saved my stars, Michelle? Good tip.
That goes to show you I'm paying attention tonight.
All right. Oops. Okay. Good. And honestly, where you lay these pictures at, where you lay the mats out, just depends on how much of the background color you want to see. You know, you could cluster them closer together, separate them a little bit more. The nice thing about using the repositionable is which I'm planning to do, I'll probably use these sooner rather than later, so that if I overlap them too much, I can still pull them to the side. And the other thing that's interesting is actually, I may end up subbing some of this out because, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be using 70s. For those of you who were with me before I started recording, I'm going to be using these for my childhood pictures. And in the 70s, I didn't really have 4x6 photos. So, you know, one of the things I liked about this layout for my 70s photos is I can trim them to 3x3s, and how awesome will that be down here? And so this space down here is where you would cut your photos to 3x3. Just as a reminder, I could actually pop these off because I put them on with repositionable adhesive. So let's just do that to give everybody the authentic look of the 3x3s. Leaving a little cluster spot here for another photograph. And then I do have some of the Lullaby, wrong ones, not Lullaby Lane, that's the other ones. I do have some of these Little Dreamer embellishments, the ones I just cut and then moved. And I can cut some of these stars as Michelle suggested. But I could, you know, put a little sprout down here. I think Precious would definitely apply. Of course, maybe I'm a little biased, but I think I was Precious when I was little. I could also put New Arrival. So that's the fun thing about some of these. I could also put Loved. So that could also work. And then I could cut some of these and cluster them. So that, ladies, is the layout. Thanks again to Krislyn Mattei for creating this Reel It in Magic. I think that's what it's called. Reel in some winter magic, only I reeled in some baby magic. I am going to stop my recording